The way I got Tron is I was dating a guy.
Was it that same guy?
It was not the same guy. There's always a
No,
new
the
guy.
one when you were when you were doing Tron, there was that guy.
No, that was a different guy. Whole nother guy. I was dating Larry Anderson, who was I met in comedy class, a very talented actor, and pre-Caddyshack, and he was, very, very talented, very funny guy. And he said, he's talking about this cartoon he's in, and he said, I'm going to lunch with the producers. Lunch. So a cartoon. Well, the way he described it, I'm envisioning a cartoon. And we went to lunch at the Chronicle in Venice, California. And these people are talking about this cartoon, and I'm listening, and well, it sounds great. Good luck. Then I went off to do Caddyshack, and about a year and a half later, after Caddyshack, I ran head-to-head with one of the producers because I was the Irish Spring Girl at the time, and there was
I like it too.
Yes, thank you. This is what I mean. And there was a brief nude scene in Caddyshack, which I agreed to do as part of my job, and they sent a photographer from Playboy to the set, and I said, thank you for the compliment, because after 12 years of Catholic school interview, but I can't do it. I can't do it because there's a conflict. And the producer said, do it or you're blanked in this business and you will never work again. They took away my paid ads, they took away my billing, and I did not work for a year and a half after Caddyshack because he took me off. He really killed me. But I didn't care because during the scene, I said, I will not work until that man puts his camera down, and I got all day. Take your time. And I knew and so we went head to head. But it was a hard thing. I didn't work for a year and a half, and then Disney called after Caddyshack, shockingly enough. And I never met the casting director. I
think Steve saw you.
Steve was the man at the lunch. Steven Lisberger was at lunch with my ex-boyfriend, Larry Anderson. He was out, I was in. I didn't even know this until 28 years later when Larry said, did you know that was TRON? And I said, well, I didn't take your job. And Steven met me at lunch and then saw Caddyshack and liked it. And after my career was killed, after Caddyshack, Disney brought me back to life.
And you were reborn.
Pretty much, and in TRON. And my first meeting was, my agent called me and said, go down to Disney and I want you to read with some people. And he said, Jeff Bridges is there, do you know who he is? I said, well, I think so, but okay. And my audition was, the first meeting was an audition with Jeff. They put us on film with Steven, and it was down to me and Deborah Harry. They had two people in mind, and God knows why.
It was very big at the time.
Very, very much
Just got done with Videodrome at that point.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And I got the job, and luckily Disney restarted everything. It was like, it just brought it all back to life.
It's funny because with the new Tron Legacy coming out, Disney is revisiting past titles. The film that had come out before Tron, which was a dismal failure for them,
Oh my gosh.
was The Black Hole. The young director.
Literally and figuratively, the black hole.
And I kept saying yes. I kept saying yes. That's where I work every day. But because it was the black hole. But they're revisiting that again because they have the technology now. And I almost thank you, Tron. They have that technology.
And the fans are doing it. I got to break you off there. It's the fans who are controlling what's being seen now. And this is something that you've got to know. Because of the internet, because of the 21st century, it's not down to three guys sitting in a room going, well, I like what she wore and she doesn't look like my wife. And let's cast her. I worked as a producer, and I sat on the other side of the desk. And
I have too.
The decisions are just, when you see how the decisions are made, you want to go, are you kidding? You've got all this, not only power, but an opportunity to do something incredible. Why throw it away? So now, because of the internet, you guys are making the decisions. You actually are holding the power, and the studios are listening. And I think it's the greatest thing that ever happened to all of us.
Especially at these cons, the big con out in San Diego, Comic Con. Hollywood discovered that a number of years ago and comes rushing to it every July.
Invaded it.
They
And try to rip
invaded
it out of San Diego.
That's right. But the fact is that they finally woke up and said, we're coming to you. We want to hear what you want. We're going to come and show you what we've got.
Right.
And it's a nice,
It's interactive.
give and take. Right.
It's interactive now, and they watch the websites, they listen to the blogs.
They're tracking TRON as we speak.
They in the morning they've got what they call web crawlers, and in the morning they get the reports, and they listen and they read the blogs, and they're becoming very communication savvy, and it's becoming a global consciousness. So it's I think in my heart it kind of, after all these years, it makes me smile.
It's interesting.
Well, we helped give birth to it.
I beg your
Grandma.
pardon. I think I would remember giving birth to
It's interesting.
But they-
We.
Yes, I know.
You bring up the fan reaction online. You were one of the voice actors on the Tron 2.0 video
Yes.
game,
Yeah.
but weren't a part of the actual script for Tron Legacy. But there was a lot of groundswell. Action Flick Chick was one of the people who championed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And it was really great to see the footage from LA when, in the little viral bit, where you're back on stage as Alan and then trot her out as.
2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago.
That was just
only.
2 weeks ago.
And that was again. That's thanks to the fans. I mean, the fact that a studio would say, you know what, let's include somebody who actually isn't in the film in the promotion, and work together with this. And I say, how can I explain this to all the supporters? And I talked to Sean, the head of the studio, the lovely guy. There was a little fan photo contest, and a literal rocket scientist at NASA has his little dog with the Tron video, and the caption says, "Put Cindy in the movie or the toy gets it." And it was so funny that 1-800-PET-MEDS gave them an award. And I asked Sean, I said, with your permission, I would like to say something to answer to all the supporters. And I said, pardon me for saying this so directly, but I don't want them to think I drank the Disney Kool-Aid. I want them to understand that we are working together on this. So I said, with your permission, may I say, Gabby, the dog, has spoken, and Disney graciously has listened. And he said, great idea, because that gets us out of it. It's you guys who are making the decisions.
Absolutely.
And Gabby, the dog.
And this viral marketing that they're stepping out into and doing, it's no longer just an interview in the magazine or in the Hollywood papers or something. It's out there, including the fans. So we actually, and that night was a very
scary.
What you saw
It was
was an
scary.
attempt. It wasn't a successful attempt because it looked like it was part of the movie, didn't it? I mean, but we
It
had a
may very
whole
well be.
script. We had a whole script, and no rehearsal, and 300 fans out in this,
Cold, freezing, up on a
Blistering.
platform.
on a big stage that they had built, and a helicopter with and I don't want to tell any more of that. I will be shot by Disney if I say any more about it. But
I don't work for Disney.
It's
I can
there.
tell you what happened.
but it's their attempt to think outside the box, which I really admire.
They did a great job.
They've got great people there, and this crew. And first of all, Legacy was made by Tron fans. I mean, the director
Absolutely, yeah.
was an absolute Tron fan. He had